everyone and Happy New Year! Today we are going to make a scrunchie using the burrito method, which is the easiest and fastest way. Nothing beats silk or velvet to keep your hair smooth and healthy, and I actually used a gorgeous recycled silk to make the scrunchie you saw in the introduction. But for the sake of this tutorial, I will use this cotton fabric instead. Yes, it is full of fishes, but the real perk is that the right side and the wrong side of the fabric are very recognizable. C'est parti! We are going to use a scrap of fabric with a length of 56 centimeters and a width of 12 centimeters, and a piece of elastic that is about 24 centimeters long and around 5 or 6 millimeters wide. You will find in the description box a list of measurements for skinnier or fluffier scrunchies, for adults and for kids, as well as pro tips for fine and thick hair. And you will also find a link to every tool I'll be using today. So let's get to work! Alright, I am going to fold my fabric right sides together, fishes together if you will, and stitch at 1 centimeter from the edge. Don't forget to secure stitch the start and the end of your seam and to pick a matching color. Once it's done, I am going to open the seam. With cotton you can use your fingers, but you can also press it flat with your iron before turning your fabric on the table. Now have a close look. I grab one side of the fabric, then the opposite side, and I place them together. Then I roll them tightly together, like lovers in silk sheets or like a crêpe au chocolat if you'd rather. This is what we call the burrito method because we can now fold the other edges together, making sure to match the seams, and it looks like we have a sandwich. Bon appétit! We are going to stitch our sandwich at 1 centimeter from the edge, making sure to start above the seams and to secure stitch our sewing. So let's do it. A few back and forth stitches and we go on sewing at exactly 1 centimeter from the edge, making sure not to stitch on the layers that are rolled inside. Take your time. I am going to stop stitching a minute in order to open up my fabric, to grab the inside layers and to pull them down towards me. To do that, I hold the top of my fabric, just the outer layer, and at the same time I pull the inside layers down. Have a try. It seems tricky, but it really isn't, and it is the fastest way to make scrunchies, especially if you want to make them in bulk. When we have sewn all around, we'll leave about 4 or 5 centimeters without stitches to create an opening which will allow us to turn the scrunchie inside out later. But don't forget to secure stitch the end of your seam. So here is what your scrunchie looks like now. It is not pretty, that is for sure, but don't forget that caterpillars turn into butterflies. And to help them do just that, here is my secret weapon, a bodkin. It's a large needle with no sharp point. The link is in the description box. It's an amazing tool if you make scrunchies in bulk, but you can also use a safety pin. So I insert the bodkin into my scrunchie and gather the fabric on top of it. When the elastic is out on the other side, I can release it from the bodkin and tie a knot. Just like that. You can machine stitch it if you'd rather, but this is quicker and you can easily adjust the length of your elastic if needed. For instance, if you have really thick hair, you might want to give your elastic a bit more length. And now, the much awaited moment. Our lovely butterfly is going to emerge from its cocoon. In other words, turn your scrunchie inside out through the little opening. Alright, let's go back to Earth. It's just a scrunchie after all, and we really need to close the opening. If you want to make it quick, you can edge stitch it with your sewing machine at about 1 mm from the edge, for instance, or you can make a few invisible stitches by hand. You know me, it's what I am going to do. There we are, this is the end of this tutorial. So what do you think? Making scrunchies is really easy and quick, isn't it? You can make them with cotton, with or without fishes. You can also use satin or velvet or silk, like this one I made myself yesterday. And you can even make a scrunchie with a zipper to hide inside a key or some money, which is really useful when you go to the beach in the summer, for instance. So if you want to know how to make a scrunchie with a zipper, I have good news. It is going to be my next tutorial. So if you want to make sure not to miss it, don't forget to subscribe. Bye bye! À bientôt!